All right, today we're going to dive into something that's quietly working its way into the future of your wallet: central bank digital currencies. You'll hear people call them CBDCs. Now, you might not have heard a ton about them yet, but trust me, they could change, well, pretty much everything about money. Look, we all know money is going digital. That's not a huge shocker, right? We tap our phones to pay for coffee, we click a button to buy something online, but what's happening behind the scenes is way more complex than just convenience. The very idea of what money is changing.
And when you hear digital money, your mind probably jumps straight to Bitcoin, Ethereum, cryptocurrency. But that's only half the story. There's this other, completely different kind of digital currency popping up, and it's coming from the very places crypto was built to get away from. So if it's not crypto, what in the world are we talking about? Let's break down what a CBDC actually is.
Okay, so a CBDC isn't some new independent currency like Bitcoin. Nope, it's the digital version of the money you already use. Think of a digital US dollar, a digital euro, a digital yen. The key, and this is the most important part, is that it's issued and totally controlled by a country's central bank. It's centralized, government-backed money, through and through.
The absolute simplest way to think about it is digital cash. You know how you can hand someone a $20 bill? It's a direct transaction. A CBDC is kind of like that, but in digital form. A direct transfer from my digital wallet to yours, no commercial bank needed as a middleman. But, as we're about to see, this digital cash comes with some pretty powerful new features. So how does this whole thing work? Well, on the surface, it's pretty straightforward. Step 1, the central bank just creates the digital money, kind of like how they print bills or mint coins now. Step 2, it gets sent out through the normal banking system. But step 3, this is the game changer. This money can be programmable. Think about that. Stimulus payments could be programmed so they can only be spent on, say, food and rent. Or they could be given an expiration date to force you to spend it quickly. That's a whole new level of control.
Which leads to the big question: why? Why are governments and central banks all over the world pouring so much time and money into developing this? What's the real motivation here?
So the official reasons are all about practicality. Upgrading the country's financial plumbing. They talk about making payments happen in an instant, cutting down on transaction fees, and getting money to people who don't have bank accounts. And yeah, it would also make it way easier to deliver stimulus checks and, of course, to track illegal money.
But let's be real, behind all those practical efficiencies, there's a much bigger prize for them. Having direct control over the money itself gives central banks a whole new toolkit for managing the economy. Imagine them being able to directly apply negative interest rates to your digital wallet to make you spend, not save. It's a fundamental shift in economic power.
Okay, this brings us to the most important point of confusion we have to clear up. How is this digital cash from the government different from something like Bitcoin? They might both be digital, but they are worlds apart.
Let's put them head to head. Control? CBDCs are totally centralized. The government is the boss. Crypto? It's decentralized, run by a network of users. How's it made? A central bank just creates CBDCs out of thin air. Crypto has to be mined by the network. And their whole purpose, their entire reason for existing, is the exact opposite. A CBDC is designed to strengthen the existing state financial system, while crypto was literally created to be an alternative to it.
Honestly, if you take away just one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. CBDCs are a tool to reinforce and modernize the power of the state. Cryptocurrencies are an experiment to try and replace it. They are philosophical opposites. One is top-down, the other is bottom-up.
So with that difference crystal clear, let's zoom out. Is this just some weird tech fad, or are we looking at something much, much bigger? For thousands of years, the technology we call money has been evolving. We went from just bartering stuff to using standardized coins, then to this weird idea of paper money, and now to the digital numbers in our bank accounts. When you look at it that way, CBDCs don't seem like such a crazy leap. They start to look like the next logical and maybe even inevitable chapter in that long story.
At the end of the day, what a CBDC really represents is a fusion of two incredibly powerful forces. It takes the lightning speed and efficiency of the digital world and marries it with the top-down authority of state control.
So we're standing on the edge of what could be the biggest change to money in a century. And the real question isn't just about technology. It's about that fundamental balance between convenience and control. What does it mean for all of us when our cash is no longer just cash, but is now programmable, trackable, digital code? That's the conversation we all need to start having.
Subscribe and visit Web3 Newswire for visibility and credibility of your Web3 projects.